So today's video is actually going to be me shooting. I've been saying that I'm going to do it for a while. I've just been trying to look for the time to actually go ahead and do it. But I'm still going to keep making these videos with a topic in mind, for now at least, not just shooting for the sake of it. Today's video, I wanted to talk about how to get good at using a pistol. This isn't really something I've been asked on YouTube yet, but it's a question that I get asked about in real life. People will ask me, how do I get good with a pistol? Or, I own a pistol, I've taken it out, I can't hit the broadside of a barn with it. So, I have my own method on how this process goes. And so, that being said, I think that shooting 22 pistols is probably the best way for me. That's how I learned to do it. I got another one here. It's a custom Ruger Mark 1 with a copper Cerakote on it. So, and the other two guns you've seen from previous videos, the High Standard Sentinel and the Colt Single Action Buntline Scout. So, the way I learned, funny enough, I bought a 1911 a few years back, and I would take it out here and try and hit a target about 7 yards away, and I'd be burying rounds straight into the ground, like a few feet ahead of what I was trying to shoot. And that was because I had such a bad flinch that I would shoot and my gun would tip down every single time. So what I did was I sat down in a lawn chair one day. I had a Beretta Bobcat 22 pistol, which I don't have anymore. Funny enough, I actually traded it for this gun. But I would sit in the lawn chair, and I had a target about, it was pretty far away. It was like 50 yards away. And I just sit there and try and shoot and get rid of that flinch until eventually I broke the flinch and I could hit that target at 50 yards a few times. And then obviously I moved it closer to more realistic distances, and then all of a sudden it felt like with that 1911 it just transferred straight over from the Bobcat to the 1911. I was better at shooting. So I'm going to demonstrate. I have a target about 20 yards, 15-20 yards away. I'm going to load up here and I'm actually going to demonstrate a few things while shooting. Alright, so here I have the High Standard Sentinel. My steel plate is down there. I'm going to take a few shots and show you guys just how to line up the sights effectively. This one has a painted front sight, so what you're going for is to get it even like that. Some people like to tip it up like this, and then they'll be hitting high, and they'll ask me, like, why am I hitting high? And my question always is, how are you holding your sights? Because if you're holding it like this, you're going to hit high. If you got it way down here, you're going to hit low. So most handguns, you want it to be flush across the top. And that can be a difficult concept for some people. But I'm going to take a couple shots like that so you guys can see. Alright, didn't hit every shot. I'll blame it on shooting one-handed, but that's just a demonstration on how this type of sight system works. So yeah, let's move on to the next topic. Alright, so now on to the Ruger Mark 1. Very similar sight system. It's looking a little blurry, but just like that, you want it flush across the top. Very accurate pistol. Sometimes when I recommend shooting 22 pistols to get better at shooting. People look at me like I've completely lost my mind. Like, 22s just aren't capable of doing anything. One of the most annoying things people tell me is that, like, 22 is just a kid's gun, or that it's kind of pointless. But, so I have this single action Scout here. If you were to buy a real Colt single action and 45 long Colt and try and get good shooting that, you're going to be shooting rounds that are almost $1 a shot. So with this, you can get the fundamentals down of how it works, how to load it, unload it, shoot it. Well, you know, I'm using a bucket of 1,400 rounds that I bought for $100. So to say that that's useless is wrong. It really is like a good training tool, and you can go out and, you know, at least in my personal experience, 22s are usually the go-to gun that you grab when you're just going out to have fun shooting. Six shots right on target. And it's because I've practiced, you know. I understand how these guns work. I've practiced with them extensively. So when I do have something that's actually chambered in the full power expensive cartridges, I know how to use it. And I recommend that people do the same. All right, now for some footage down by the target of what this Colt can do. All right, next up, the Ruger Mark I. And now the High Standard Sentinel in double action. All right, so what's our takeaway from all this? I like to think that if you shoot any pistol like you shoot a 22, you're going to hit your target. Because it doesn't matter, let's say this was chambered in 45. As long as I shoot it like I'm not anticipating any recoil and that I know it's not going to kick, anything that happens after the trigger pull is irrelevant. You just got to learn to be all right with that recoil and just let it happen. You know, you're going to be thrown off way more by anticipating than you are by the actual kick itself. Because once it's doing that, your round has already left the chamber. It's headed down to whatever you're shooting at. So you got to get over that. And my favorite way to teach new shooters how to do that is to get proficient with the 22 pistol from the start. So over the span of this video, I practiced with a single action semi-automatic pistol, a single action revolver, and a double action revolver. As you could tell from the little bit of footage, I missed a little bit with the double action revolver. It's not my preferred method of shooting, but it's all right. I missed a couple shots. I could use a little bit more practice, but with the other two, I nailed every single shot. So there's something to be said about 22 pistols and not underestimating what they're there for. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend to somebody to choose this as their concealed carry handgun or home defense gun. 22 pistols tend to not be the most reliable thing in the world. Whether it be just dud rounds or jams or anything like that. If it's all you've got, then it'll work. But if you have more options, I say use these to get good with the guns that you're actually going to need to use. And, you know, the cost per round, you'll be saving a lot of money and getting way more practice per dollar if you just use a 22 for practice. So if you're looking for a way to get better with a pistol, go down to a pawn shop, small gun store. I guarantee you they have something similar to these guns for really cheap in the counter. They're not guns that just fly off the shelf, super desirable guns, because of some of the reasons I've stated, is that people underestimate them, think that they're useless. So go out, practice with your 22s, have fun, and I guarantee you'll get better at shooting.